When I joined in '91, my uniform was a pencil skirt and we were given a handbag. You know, I'd have to literally hitch my skirt up, so it was like really, really short to run after or chase anybody or get over a gate. It was ridiculous. And this was how police women were expected to walk around throughout the day. So there was this definite sort of no, men wear the proper uniform and you girls, you just have your legs out and look cute.
In terms of women in policing and the journey we've travelled over the past 100 years, you know, it's been significant. We started off as our own police service. We were only allowed to do certain jobs. They were normally administrative roles or looking after children. But there's been some fantastic trailblazers, you know, throughout the 40s, 50s, 60s, who've really laid down that path for people like me to end up as, you know, Deputy Chief Constable.
For me, my biggest challenge was my age. People didn't really respect me because I was young. Being a female, you get sort of derogatory comments from males and they do treat you differently slightly. We've had instances where I've had a man and he's like, get the men here because I'm not fighting you, which sort of makes my job a little bit easier because then they're not going to offer me violence. You just get comments from men thinking you can't handle yourself and things like that, and I'm like, I'm stronger than I look.
We actually looked at changing the uniform in Merseyside over the past 2 years, and we went out to the females within the organisation and we did a vote, and overwhelmingly it was voted that we wanted to keep our cravats and our bowlers. So actually that's a part of our tradition that I'm quite happy to be unique, recognition that I am a female officer. But again, that can be really difficult for people who don't identify as either gender, or for transgender officers. That uniform debate becomes really difficult for those officers and even more challenging.
The first time I came over here as an immigrant, I saw a female police officer and I thought she was a ticket warden because her hat was different than the males' hats, and her uniform, she had a funny looking tie I'd never seen before. I don't understand gendered uniforms in British policing. Doesn't matter what's between your legs, what kind of color skin is under the uniform. The uniform is the uniform, and it should just be that. It should be the same consistently. You're representing something, and it should be very clear what you're representing. If I see another detective show where a woman wears a skirt and high heels, I'm gonna lose my mind. Because in reality, that's not the way things are. But what really aggravates me is how they portray women as this delicate little thing that they have to treat a certain way in policing, which is farther from the truth. I think some of the strongest people you will meet in policing are women, because you've had to face adversity your whole life. So you're able to more adequately deal with conflict.
I think it's important to show females in higher roles, and I think that's quite inspiring for girls joining. Now that I have joined the police, I've learned how inaccurate a lot of crime shows are and how they portray the police, and I kind of steer away from a bit of crime shows like the ones when they try soaps. I can't watch because I'm like, that's not how it is.
Television series based on the police seem to really require everything to be very, very much dramatic and playing out in the most sensational of ways, which makes good television. And I think that's what the difference is, what real life is versus what makes good television.
I think it's really important that the TV companies try and make it you know, as accurate as possible. I get they're making TV, it's got to be great, it's got to draw people in it, but where they're portraying people inaccurately around that role modelling and not showing that women can be great leaders within policing, yeah, I think it's really something they shouldn't be doing.
I think people are very aware, aren't they, that it's a television programme rather than real life. The fact that there are now so many documentaries, you see the actual people doing the actual job. The only one I did watch and think was really accurate was Happy Valley. This is what policing is like. It's not all just chasing murderers, it's working in communities with ordinary people and ordinary people's problems most of the time.
Prime Suspect with Helen Mirren, which was quite groundbreaking for its time. I think it was very much a radical representation of women at the time in dealing with that kind of institutional sexism. Most women I ever spoke to really enjoyed that show because they felt it linked in with some of the things they'd experienced, not necessarily as police women, but just in general workforce.
Chips was something that struck at my soul. I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to help people. This was my show to look up to. When I watch it now and I see how women were portrayed, it's really disheartening, to be honest with you. I tell my students, think like a dude in respect to applying for these jobs. Most women will sit back and say, you know what, I don't meet the qualifications, I'm not going to put in for that. You got to kind of put yourself out there. My whole life I've been told I'm too small, I'm too frail, I'm too weak. Physicality is such a small part of the job. So yeah, think like a dude.
I definitely think it's a lot more positive in policing for women nowadays. I'm glad I've joined now because it's a lot more opportunities for women, a lot more support. If you can get over the fear of it, you'll be fine because it's not actually that scary. And you always have a good support in the police. Everybody's there to back you.
It's so different now from when I joined. There will always be issues, but these are issues that women are facing in every single occupation. And the police are actually, they've shot forward and are really sort of taking the bull by the horns, I think, and recognising a lot of major issues. I would do it again in a heartbeat.
My advice to people thinking of joining the police, it is an absolutely fantastic career. There's such variety within the organisation, but the fantastic thing is every day you get out of bed knowing that you're making a difference and that you're going home having made a difference to someone's lives. For me, it's not a job, for me it's a vocation. You can't be a police officer or a member of police staff and want to come to work just to earn money. It's got to absolutely be in your soul, in your heart, that real value about wanting to make a difference.